Stop accepting no as an answer from the world. You have to be able to push through. You have to be able to persevere. Don't settle for less than you're worth.
Welcome to the R.Y.S.E Movement podcast, a place where men just like you learn to raise your standards everywhere.
Welcome to another episode of the R.Y.S.E Movement podcast. I'm Dave, and a little bit of a change of scenery in this one today as I'm sitting in the living room / dining room. I'm a little bit sick of my office at the moment because it's so damn hot and humid with all this muggy rain and shit about. So this is where we're doing it. So what I want to talk about today is stop settling for less than you're worth. Actually, that's a really good t-shirt. So I'm going to pause this here, write that down and put it on a t-shirt and then come back to the podcast. See, wrote it down. I'm going to put that onto a t-shirt. Okay, so let's get into it. Stop settling for less than what you're worth. You have so much potential inside of you. You can have and experience anything that you want to. You literally have unlimited potential sitting inside of you. You just have to tap into it. The big thing that I want to get across is any obstacle, roadblock, or problem that you're faced with has another perspective to be able to look at it from. I have gone through my life as someone with an optimistic mindset. Things have been hard in my life. However, every time that I've not been knocked down, I'm going to get back up. I don't give a fuck if it hurts me. I don't give a fuck if it's traumatic, if it's abusive, if it's financially depraving me, if it's causing me a lot of pain, sadness, whatever it is. I don't care. I am resilient enough to face anything that this life can throw at me, as are you. You just have to cultivate that discipline, that resilience inside of yourself and have the courage to be able to face life head on and say, I've fucking got this. You're not going to get me down. I'm going to do better than whatever you can throw at me. I've had a hell of a lot of things happen. Yesterday, I was diagnosed ADHD by Dr. Asher Khan at QANC in, I guess it's Bundall in Pindara Hospital. And it's cost me an arm and a leg, but it's also cost me a lot of mental, emotional, psychological pain. Just because there's a grieving process to going through ADHD, ASD, whatever neurodivergence you have. There is a grieving process to life. You're constantly grieving what could have been. There is an acceptance phase as well. There is an integration phase. The phases that you go through depending on your mindset, depends on how you look at the world. The way I look at the world is always glass half full. I'm an optimist. A lot of the time I'm, I guess, kind of like a naive optimist because I still believe that the world is a good place. Even with all the pain, with all the wars and the atrocities that are going on, even with disease and the cost of living crisis and list all of the problems in the world and I still see it as a good place. There's a lot of fucked up things in this world. However, as a human being, I know that tomorrow is going to be a better day. Always, always. It's always darkest before the dawn. Actually, it's darkest at midnight, but the saying goes, it is always darkest before the dawn because that's where first light breaks. And when first light breaks, you have hope. This symbol on my shirt, Superman's symbol, it's a symbol of hope. That's all I have. I've got it fucking tattooed inside my bicep here from Parkway Drive. Hope for the hopeless, a light in the darkness. That means something to me. That means something because I know that the level of hope and the level of light that I can see in this world, the level of help that I can offer to other people, the level of service that I can offer to people is the reason why I see so much hope in the world. I know what it's like to walk through hell. I'm intimately aware with hell. I've been there in the physical world through anxiety, panic attacks, being addicted to smokes, being addicted to sex. All of my addictions were trying to make me escape from reality. They were trying to escape me from the real world. I've also experienced escapism and denial of reality through meditation. I've used meditation as a crutch to be able to escape the world because it got so hard for a point in my life. Now, meditation is one of the greatest tools that I have to be able to enhance my life. Hypnosis, exactly the same thing. I used to hypnotize myself all the time to be able to escape life and use it as a bit of fantasy to be able to play movies in my mind's eye to be able to escape reality. Now, it's a tool to be able to enhance mine and my clients' lives. The thing that I'm trying to get at here is there is always another perspective that you're not looking at. The analogy that I use is you're this close to the problem and you got the blinders on so you can't see what's going on. Jocko Willink has a great story inside of, I think it's leadership strategies and tactics, his book there. It's like a field manual talking about detaching. So the story that goes for him, he'll tell a hell of a lot better than I will. I'll butcher it, but I'm going to say it anyway. They were downrange. They were doing a training exercise while he was a Navy SEAL, and his platoon commander wasn't giving out the orders. Everyone was down sights. They were focused downrange, and they weren't taking action to be able to move. They were stuck. Everyone was stagnant. And so he stepped back and detached, and he looked around to see that there was a leadership vacuum. And what he did is he said, move left, move right, move somewhere. This is the way that we need to go. And the whole team moved off and did exactly that. So you can do the exact same thing in your life. The moment that you feel things are going stagnant or you're not progressing, something's going wrong. You need to be able to have a look at your current results and all the behaviors that you're doing behind that result, and then step back. Be able to zoom out and see another perspective, because if you're this close to the problem and you've got the blinders on, you're blind to everything else, any other perspective, you're essentially doing yourself a massive disservice because you're so fixated on the problem. One of my favorite quotes from Einstein is, you can't solve a problem from the same level of mind that created it. So if you've created a problem at one level of mind, down here thinking, you need to rise above and get solution thinking. You need to be able to get a bird's eye perspective. Again, it's taking a step back and being able to see, what am I not seeing? What is the possibilities and the probabilities that I'm wrong? And they're pretty fucking high. So to be able to detach yourself and look at everything as, this wide open spectrum rather than what you're seeing. Because if you're fixated and you're in foveal vision, you're not in peripheral vision, you are so just anchored in and honed in on that problem. Effectively, you're hyperfixating on that problem. Like, everyone's intimately aware with what's going wrong in their life. Everyone's intimately aware with what's going wrong in the world, unless you're naive. Like, there's a lot of things going wrong. And a lot of it can be solved by just taking a step back and thinking I'll start that again. A lot of it can be fixed by taking a step back and thinking of the solution, thinking of, what could I be doing better? What is another perspective? What's another angle that I could look at this from? One thing that I do with my clients, like, say this is a notebook and I've got all of my clients' problems written down there. I put it on the table and I tell my client, I say, okay, here's an exercise I want you to do. I want you to stand up and I want you to walk to the other side of the room and see this from a different perspective. So you're literally changing your physical body around whatever the problem is. Say there's a problem in your relationship and you're sitting down at the dining table and you're arguing back and forth about what's going on. Move your body, move away from the place, move away from the house. One thing that I like to do with Rach is we go for a little walk and we talk. We're both fixated on where we're walking to. So say we're going for a walk around Emerald Lakes. Going for a walk around, it's nice and peaceful. And if there's something that I want to discuss, we're still focused on the conversation, but we're also looking ahead. We're not fixated and focused on each other being the problem. It's like, there's an opportunity that we need to do here to be able to create some solutions. Let's keep going for a walk and walk around the lake, and then let's come up with some solutions using different types of thinking. We're moving our blood, we're moving our body around, we're releasing different endorphins, releasing different hormones, and we're getting vitamin D from the sun and all these great things, and we can communicate and hone in on something that could be a solution. It's one of my favorite things to do. Arguing in the house is one of the dumbest things that you can do, because this is your place of peace. Home is meant to be, the place, it's a sanctuary. It's meant to be the place where you can relax, where you can unwind, where you can be yourself. And if you're constantly arguing inside of the household, do it in a different place. Change the scenario, change the scenery so that you can overcome whatever you've got to overcome. Same thing at work. A lot of the time, work meetings are done at work. Go out over a coffee, go to somewhere special, take the team out and do a team building exercise. Don't do it at work, because work is for work. It's for problem solving, yes, but at the same time, one of my favorite things that I used to do with my management team back when I was store manager of Macca's is I'd take them for a coffee. I'd take them out of the place and we'd go do a meeting somewhere else, because doing a meeting in the work, like, granted we didn't have a big staff room, so we couldn't really do meetings there, but like doing it in the food court, that's work. That's where we had to be able to deliver high KPIs. And if we're focusing on problems and creating solutions for the problems whilst we're sitting in the place of work, it's a conflict of interest. Which do you want? Do you want us to focus on the problems, or do you want us to focus on the KPIs which we need to hit? One thing that I used to absolutely love about the first place that I was a manager at, Pac Fair Macca's it was. My store manager, his name was Day. And one thing that we did as a ritual for our monthly manager meetings is we would go to a bar and we would discuss business whilst having a beer. Like, it's not the most professional things, but the fucking solutions that we came up with because we had a beer or two was absolutely amazing. It lowered our inhibitions and it lowered our critical judgments of one another, going, Sam, it's your fault, you're the problem, you're not doing what you need to be doing with training, and Jack, you're fucking up the rosters and all these sorts of things. It's like, no, like, okay, let's have a chat. What's not working? Here's some solutions that I think. What do you guys think? And let's have a decorum about it. I absolutely adored that. Removing yourself away from the scenario of this is the problem. This is the problem. We're all aware of the problem. And that store, Pack Fair, when Day Day was store manager, Jack was 2IC, Sam and I were 3IC, and we were the systems manager, and we had a couple of other casual managers, that place ran itself because we had the systems down pat. You know, everything was done perfectly. And the thing with Mac is it's a perfect business. They have everything. They have a system for everything. They have a procedure for everything. They have, you know, they have absolutely everything covered so that you can run the business flawlessly. I remember the profit that we got at Christmas time, like, you know, it's Christmas now, so talking about Christmas, coming into school holidays, December was always the biggest month, and we were closed for 2 days of December. So Christmas we were shut, and then, well, New Year's Day we were shut as well. And we still always smashed records. You know, like a usual McDonald's store will run at about a 32% profit margin, 33%. For December, we always ran for 2 years consecutively while we were all there as that team, as that tight-knit unit. We ran it at like a 37% profit margin. Like, we smashed it, and we all got bonuses. We all got rewarded because we were a cohesive team, because we were so focused on, all right, this is the team that we've got. Here's the solutions and how we're going to hold ourselves. This is the way that we're going to conduct meetings, and it's going to be purposeful. There's going to be a great reason and understanding between one another because we had such a tight-knit team, and it was done over a beer. Like, it was amazing, absolutely amazing. It was like out of left field sort of thinking. It was coming from this different perspective, this different way of looking at things that allowed us to thrive and allowed us to be unique. It allowed, you know, Day Day, he barely had to do anything. It also, because I tried to cut his grass and I tried to do his job for him, saying like, you know, you don't have a job, you don't need to be here sort of thing. I can do everything for you. But that was because I was showboating and saying like, I'm better than you. That was a downfall of myself. What I'm getting at here is I want you guys to take a step back and zoom out. Stop putting so much fucking pressure on your shoulders to be able to say, it has to be this way, I'm controlling it this way. Stop being such a control freak and let go. Be able to see things from another perspective. Because if you're fixated on the problem, you are part of the problem. If you can zoom out and take a step back and see another perspective, you're going to be part of the solution. And that's going to help you in the long run across all areas of life. So I think that's where we're going to leave it today, guys. Nice, short, sharp one. Very practical, very pragmatic. Go make your life amazing. Go raise your standards everywhere and have an amazing day.
Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for subscribing and leaving a review. It really helps us out. Until next time, take care and much love.